Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's April 30th. We have with us Judge Andrew Napolitano, a man of men. And if you want to see what in the world is going on from a whole different perspective, from the people that he has on his show, Judging Freedom, you got to check this stuff out. You know, before we went on there, Judge, thanks for being here, of course. And we were talking about this guy who's a former senator, Noel Coleman. His real name was Goldman, but they changed it. It's Coleman now. Coleman, Greenberg, Iceberg. What's the difference? This little slime ball came out. There's a video. We're going to put it up. He said that the masters of the universe are the Jews.
A majority of Gen Z have an unfavorable impression of Israel. And my friends, I think the reason for that is that we're losing the digital war. Okay, they're getting their information from TikTok and whatever it is, and we're losing that war. When you think about it, the masters of the universe are Jews. You know, we've got Altman and AI, we've got Zuckerberg, we've got Sergey Brin, we've got the group across the board, Jan Combs, founded WhatsApp. It's us. And we have to figure out a way to win the digital battle. Amelia, we got to get our digital sneakers on so that the truth can prevail over the lies. And when we do that, the future of Israel will be stronger because a majority of all Americans will support Israel. We'll make that happen. We have to make it happen. Thank you.
They're just pieces of crap. We're just two little guineas, you and me. We're just wops.
That attitude is prevalent in the Netanyahu regime and results in the slaughter of innocents as Netanyahu attempts to create greater Israel from Damascus to Cairo, from the river to the sea. That attitude allows them to slaughter non-Jews, to suppress Catholics, to eliminate Muslims, and to expand their borders. That is antithetical to any system of morality of which I'm aware, that one nationality is superior to the other. That's apartheid superior to all others. That's apartheid on steroids.
And again, when you mention the word apartheid, that is what Israel is an apartheid state.
Yes, it is.
You know, everybody forgets about the laws that they passed where the Arabs living there, they're not as, they don't have the freedom, they don't have the rights of the Jewish people. And not my language, but it's what? Human rights organization, one after another, calling it an apartheid state.
Well, one of the retired generals, name escaping me, referred to Gaza as an open-air concentration camp and part of our apartheid state. Now, I don't know that he would have said that while he was an active duty general, but after 30 or 40 years in the Israeli military, that's the conclusion to which he came. He may have blood in his hands, and maybe he's washed it off, and maybe he's made amends, but his statement is a truthful and a profound one. Israel's in very bad shape because not all of the Israelis agree with this. The secular Israelis condemn this attitude. Netanyahu has a minority government. He's destroyed the economy. He's destroyed the medical profession. Without the United States, Israel's nothing. Nothing.
Well, now Australia just sent them more weapons too. But of course, as you said, without the United States. But talking about this little slime ball, Coleman. Hey, Noel, you come over here and you tell me that you're the master of the universe. You come over here and tell me that you're the chosen people. And I'll tell you who you are. You're a little low-life slime ball. Oh, this is a Noel Coleman, by the way. He's a couple of years younger than me. Grew up during the Vietnam War. He hated the Vietnam War. He protested it. He was, quote, a liberal. Nah. Changed the whole thing when he got in. He supported the Iraq War. He supports the Israel War. He was against the Vietnam War because they were drafting us back then.
If
like
you
all these other artists and all these other clown boys and girls that were so anti-Vietnam War, not a peep out of their mouth now about the genocide being committed day after day after day. And I write about this in the Trends Journal. It breaks my heart. Oh, yesterday, only 55 Palestinians were killed. Oh, the other article about in the Trends Journal, over 1,000 kids had their arms and legs blown off. Nobody cares. Where are all these protesters of the Vietnam War? They protested because they were getting drafted. Going back to this slimeball Coleman, the other line that I don't want to hear this crap anymore, we're the chosen people. That's the attitude that little bastard has. We're just pieces of crap. Shove your chosen people up your you-know-what.
When he made this statement that the Jews are the masters of the universe, do you know who was standing right behind him? Netanyahu.
No kidding.
Netanyahu himself was right there, just sort of smiling and smirking. This is clearly the attitude that animates this genocidal murderer who's welcomed in the United States, who's not welcomed in Italy or the Vatican. He refused to go, probably for fear of arrest, to the Pope's funeral, who can't go to 95% of the countries in the world, but whose donors in this country arguably have a stranglehold on the Congress and on the presidency. Last week, Mike Waltz, the president's national security advisor, hired a woman to head the Israel-Iran desk. She was born in Israel. She fought for the IDF, part of the Israeli military. She has joined American-Israeli citizenship. Why would Donald Trump allow somebody like this into his inner circle in national security matters? And how can she possibly be in charge of United States relations to Israel and Iran? Who controls Trump? Same people that control the Congress.
Yep. Well, look what Trump's doing, and all these people. Look about the universities, the stopping protesters that are anti-genocide protesters. Look what's going on week after week after week after week, and people getting arrested because you have an article coming out. Again, you got to go to Judging Freedom if you want to know what in the world is going on that you're not getting anywhere else. And the judge writes articles every week, and there's one coming out tomorrow. And the title of it, Arresting a Judge. You can't make this shit up. Again, Heil Trump. Here, I want to read the opening paragraph. Last week, the FBI arrested a Wisconsin state judge as she was walking into the courthouse where she works. The feds had alerted the media, but not the judge, to this event. And they arrived and recorded the arrest. The standard and preferred practice when arresting a nonviolent person who is a public official with deep roots in the community is to invite the person to surrender with counsel. Instead, without notice, the judge was stopped on a public street, handcuffed behind her back, technique reserved for the most dangerous and threatening individuals. And within minutes, the FBI director himself had posted still photos of this event on his X account. Heil Hitler.
You tell me that this was not an effort or a message to intimidate the entire judiciary. The next day, the White House press secretary said the president wouldn't hesitate to arrest Supreme Court justices. So if this trend continues unabated, and either public opinion will abate it or some action by the judiciary, if this continues unabated, we have no protection for our civil liberties. Say something in London that the president doesn't like, and he might not let you back in the country. I'm not making that up. That's George Clooney's wife, Amal Clooney, who has a permanent resident alien card, whose husband and children are Americans. Put aside what their politics are. She can say whatever she wants in London or Brussels, and it should have no effect whatsoever on whether or not she gets back in the country, except if you're trying to intimidate people. So this is a very, very dangerous event. And the whole thing is over whether or not the arrest warrant that the feds had was a valid one. In my opinion, it wasn't. So the feds have created something called an administrative warrant. That's where, it's almost a joke, that's where one federal agent authorizes another federal agent to arrest somebody. Well, that's not valid under the Constitution. Under the Constitution, only judges can sign arrest warrants. So when this judge presiding over a criminal case was told by her court officer, hey, the feds are in the courtroom. They want this guy as soon as you're finished with him. What do you mean they want him? They want to arrest him. Oh, let me see the arrest warrant. They don't have one. They don't have one? No, they have an administrative warrant. That's not valid here. They're not going to arrest him. I'm going to let him out the back door. Well, let him out the back door. The feds were waiting for him, and they arrested him there. And for that, she was arrested? Because she let him out the back door because they didn't have a valid arrest warrant. This is nothing but an effort to intimidate, and handcuffing her behind her back is reprehensible.
You know, you're right. You're right. The feds had alerted the media.
Remember when they arrested Roger Stone? They alerted CNN, which showed up with a full camera crew. They didn't tell Stone they were going to knock on his door at 5:30 in the morning. So this is what they do when they want to humiliate you.
You go on, this is bigger than Judge Dugan. We are witnessing an unprecedented assault on the separation of powers and the concept of federalism by a White House impatient with the constitutional process and largely indifferent to the role and function of the judiciary. If the feds succeed in intimidating judges and bending them to the presidential will, our liberties will have no protection, you write.
It's a sad thing to have to say, but this is not some law school class on hypotheticals. This is really happening under our noses. Look, Gerald, I take a lot of heat from the MAGA crowd and from our conservative Republican friends, but as long as I can continue to speak out on this, I will do so. Because my friends that are rejoicing in this expansion of executive power will be weeping when this power is exercised by a President Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or J.B. Pritzker or whoever is going to succeed Trump. Just like in the Obama years, he got away with so much because of all the powers the Republican Congress gave to George W. right after 9/11. So be careful what you celebrate, because those powers might be used against you and people close to you someday. That's why we're supposed to have an independent judiciary that keeps the executive branch and the legislative branch confined within, or as Jefferson did say, chained down by the Constitution. Without that independent judiciary restraining the popular branches, we will have no protection for our liberty.
And then that guy that the judge let go, what was the crime?
Here illegally, no crime.
That's what I'm saying. Here illegally, and they arrest you for this.
That's probably why they couldn't get an arrest warrant for him, because they couldn't present any evidence of crime.
And you do that to a judge?
Oh my God!
This is so important. Trump is in office now 100 days, a little over 100 days, and look at this freak show going on in front of everybody's eyes, and this is just the beginning. Judge, there has never been a better time for a new third party than now.
You're right. And you've been saying this for a long time, but now is the time for it.
Because
There are people on the left and the right, there are progressives and libertarians who will rise up against this. There are everyday Republicans and Democrats who will rise up against this.
this is going to be a division in this nation that we have never seen in our lifetime. We're never going to witness what we're witnessing now in our lifetime. We never saw this before. The other thing too, you mentioned the guy Pritzker. Look at the clown show. Oh, little slob boy over there. Oh, my daddy with a Hyatt family. Don't you know all the money I have? Don't you know who I am? One little jerk. Oh, Bernie Sanders. What's her name? That woman, OCA, whatever.
AOC.
One little clown after another in the Democratic Party. These are the jerks they're putting out in front that they're going to run against. Look at the jerks. There's a time now for a new third party, and someone to me, like Massey, the guy from Kentucky, should be the guy leading the show.
Yes. Massey is a young, candidly, more articulate, more physically attractive Ron Paul.
Yeah.
Rand Paul has really been attacking Trump from the floor of the Senate. I wouldn't be surprised if he does something as well or is interested in doing something. What you just said to me, I've heard in private from him.
Yeah, again, this is, there's never been a better time. We aren't, as we're going on the air, the Dow now is down, was about 600 and something, 700 points.
It was down 700 points 15 minutes ago. I haven't looked since we came on air.
And why?
Because Trump's running the economy, because Trump doesn't understand economics 101.
The economy is going down. Gold prices are going up. I've been following gold since 1978. My first buy was like $183 or $63 an ounce. And I've never seen gold spike like this. And the reason it's spiking, two things: geopolitical and economic.
Right.
Today, the news came out, Israel more bombs away over Syria, bombs away over Lebanon. The United States has struck Yemen over 800 times, 800 launches since Trump became president.
Wait a minute. Trump just attacked Putin for bombing and killing civilians in Kyiv. Trump bombs and kills civilians every single day in Yemen.
Yep.
The Russian legislature has declared war on Ukraine. Has the Congress declared war on Yemen?
You have to listen to Trump's language. He keeps saying, I'll do this, I'll do that, I, me. He doesn't care about Congress. He doesn't care about the Constitution. He's a narcissist. He only cares about himself. He's a psychopath. In front of everybody's eyes, by the deeds you shall know them. And where is the outrage? None. And by the way, I do the podcasts every Tuesday, one with you on Wednesday, and I do another podcast on Thursday. And yesterday I held up the New York Times Sunday edition. Not one word about the slaughter going on each day that Israel's committing against the Palestinians. But a big picture there of, a bombed out apartment building in Ukraine.
Yeah.
No, we're in dangerous times.
We are. We have to keep speaking about it. You don't know who's listening to us now. It may resonate in many, many human hearts. And among those human hearts might be a giant who will help rise up against this.
And you can't do it without any money. And you only could go so far. The Renaissance happened because the Medicis made it happen.
Right.
And the wars keep happening because the military-industrial complex keeps making it happen.
Right.
Where these billionaires don't give a penny for peace. They give nothing to the betterment of humanity. If there's one of them out there that starts doing it, the game could change. In the meantime, everybody, you do what you can do to bring it to a higher level. Help those who need help. Do what you can to speak out for truth, peace, justice, and the true American way that we've lost. And go to Judging Freedom. If you want to see the people. So who's coming on now, Judge? Who you got coming?
Max Blumenthal, Pepe Escobar, and
Wow.
our friend Phil Giraldi. Giraldi is going to address the roots of anti-Semitism.
Yeah. The roots of it. And as a matter of fact, I published his article about that also in the Trends Journal this week.
Right.
Yeah. So thanks
That's
for tuning in. Thank you for being here, Judge. Thank you for all that you're doing. And everybody, do all you can do in the name of the true spirit of what this country was founded upon. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, happiness is a dirty word, so we make it blacklisted for saying that. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you, Gerald. All the best.
But